Welcome to the War Insider YouTube channel. As Vladimir Putin ponders how to make up for the losses suffered in occupied territories, he is shaken by recent news that has outraged the Russian army. The news concerns the killing of General Dimitri Ulyanov, a highly respected figure who had served in many critical roles. With each loss of a general, the Russian army is becoming more vulnerable to the Ukrainian army's advances in the ongoing conflict. In the Russian-Ukrainian war, sabotage groups and partisans have proven to be as effective as armies. General Leonidov is among the many important figures the Russian army has lost due to attacks from non-army groups. He was killed by a Ukrainian sabotage group whose mission was to prevent Russian invasion. The group launched a surprise attack on Ulyanov and his entourage in a non-combat zone in Dunbas. Although a clash ensued, the Russian occupiers were caught off guard, and Ulyanov was killed in the process. According to Russian sources, Ulyanov's death marks the 12th general lost since the beginning of the occupation. As a highly respected paratrooper general, Ulyanov had held many important positions in the Russian army, including commander of the 98th Guards Airborne Division, chief of staff of the 7th Airborne Division, and commander of the 1141st Artillery Regiment. He retired at the age of 44 but returned to the army when Russia began its occupation of Ukraine, due to his alignment with Putin's ideology. Putin appointed Ulyanov to head a regiment of Tatarian motorized infantry serving in the occupied territories, making his loss a huge wound for the Russian army. Despite Putin's attempts to manipulate and conceal the extent of the Russian army's losses, it is widely believed that more generals have been lost during the invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian officials have announced that the Russian army has lost 14 generals during the occupation, with Ulyanov's death bringing renewed attention to this number. The ongoing conflict continues to take a heavy toll on both sides, with no end in sight. Japanese commanders have made strong statements regarding the deaths of Russian generals during the invasion of Ukraine. According to Tokyo's intelligence data obtained from Europe and the United States, the Russian army has lost an unusually high number of generals, with Japan claiming that 20 have been lost. Retired General Kiyofumo Iwata, former chief of staff of Japan's ground self-defense forces, attributed the high loss of generals to the strength of the Ukrainian troops and cyber warfare. Japanese General Iwata explained that cyber power has made it easy to detect the location of evading generals, with the use of cell phones by soldiers also facilitating their detection. He concluded that the death of generals demoralizes soldiers, while the intelligence of the Ukrainian army, with the help of Western and European countries, plays an important role in locating Russian generals and destroying their bunkers, ammunition depots, and military bases. The Ukrainian army has successfully killed many top commanders of the Russian invaders, causing them to regress. Magomed Toshev, the right-hand man of Russian puppet Chechen leader Kadyrov, was appointed as the commander of the 14th Mechanized Regiment in the occupied territory, and was killed in a successful ambush by the Ukrainian army at Gostomel Airport near Kiev. Major General Andriy Sokovitsky, the deputy commander of the 41st United Army of the Central Military District, was killed with a single bullet by a Ukrainian sniper in a special operation. Major General Vitaly Gerasimov, one of Putin's most experienced commanders who fought in the occupation of Crimea and in Syria, was killed in fighting around Kharkiv. Finally, General Anton Simonov was killed in an artillery strike by the Ukrainian Air Force with the help of Western and European countries, with the Ukrainian army having strengthened its ammunition stocks and missile artillery systems. These attacks, which resulted in great losses for Russia, are usually carried out with missile and artillery systems. The Russian-Ukrainian war has been marked by intense fighting in Crimea and its surrounding regions. Mariupol, in particular, has been a hotly contested area, where Major General Oleg Mityayev was killed by Ukrainian forces. The Ukrainian army has continued to make history against the Russian invaders as they steadily advance towards their objectives. Many high-ranking occupying soldiers, including officers and commanders, have been killed in the Ukrainian army's attacks. The Russian army has also lost 49 colonels in Ukraine. These losses have dealt a blow to Russian leader Vladimir Putin, who is gradually losing his commanders that played crucial roles in the war. On average, the Russian army loses 500 soldiers and thousands of tons of ammunition each day. Putin's decision to invade Ukraine is widely unpopular, and his failures are causing the needless deaths of his people. This turmoil raises the possibility of a civil war in Russia. It remains to be seen if the killing of these generals will change the course of the war. Putin will need to find a way to compensate for these losses, and the successful attacks of the Ukrainian army raise questions about how he can effectively continue the invasion. If Putin persists with his decision to invade, it could lead to a civil war in Russia. This is all for today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. We'll be back with more updates and information. Thanks for watching.